Welcome everyone. So that was kind of tricky. I have no idea what's going on, but apparently the stream that I had set up wouldn't start. At least we're live now. I see at least Spooky in the side chat. Welcome, Spooky. Yeah. So apparently everything's going sideways today. So Artemis was going to be here as my co-host. Artemis had an emergency, and so he might be joining later. We're not entirely sure yet, but I set it up just in case he wants to come on and join. That can still happen. Our guest today, I have to say, we didn't get off on well on Twitter. We had one of his followers on 2 weeks ago. Um, I'll let him introduce himself. His name is Johan. He's from South Africa. So, Johan, welcome. Do a small introduction of yourself.
Thank you, Peter. I'm Johan Abrams. I currently stay in Robertson, but in a, a sort of a suburb of Robertson in a black community. Due to apartheid, the communities has been divided. There's a colored community on the one side, and then there's a black community on the other side, and white South Africans are sort of in the center. So I'm currently in Kubela in the Black Society. At the moment, I'm relaxing. I've worked in a tavern of my daughter and son up to 4 o'clock, and now I'm relaxing. I would like to get into bed at 9, but this is important to start tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock again in the tavern. My body is now 59 years old. Uh, God took me out of my wife and kids, and I basically now only a spiritual life, meaning no physical life like a wife and kids and family and friends and a nation, and also no house because I don't need it, and no work and no money. I'm basically only a servant helping my children to have a better life. So I'm staying now with them in their house, providing for my body, food, and what's necessary, shelter and clothes, and enjoying my spiritual life with God, having His children as my children, having Him as my companion or my husband in my life. Only a spiritual life.
Okay.
Uh,
Um, but it's safe to say that you created your own religion. Is that correct?
I didn't create my own religion. I just grew up in Christian religion from childhood days to adult life, as any living being is doing. You start off as a baby, you grow older, crawling, walking,
Yeah.
and
What
then
I what I what I actually meant is that you say that you're Christian, but the way you have your religion, that isn't Christian. I mean, people on Twitter are already saying you're a heretic. People in your community do not accept you. So your version of Christianity is a complete new one, and is literally only you. Isn't that correct?
well, yeah. Actually, I am the manifestation of the fullness of the family of God. Previously, it was only a father and his naughty kids. Now I am, as the first wife of God, is now the fullness of the family in this as there's now a mother for the kids too. We are now the full family, the father, the mother, and the relationships there also as husband and wife, and then the father and his children with the mother as his children. Previously, it was a broken family, but it's the same Christianity. It is just these last days where the mother is now coming in the picture, and I'm only the first one. The rest will follow as they realize the truth of this.
Well, just to jump in real quick, um, I've read the Bible a couple of times, and I still read it. The concept of there having to be a mother is mentioned nowhere in the Bible. It is completely unbiblical. Um, as a matter of fact, if you were uh, to adhere to the Ten Commandments, you would be breaking the first commandment because you put yourself between uh, uh, the followers of Christ and Christ. Isn't that correct?
Actually, Paul himself mentioned and was living in these realities. All the followers he had was not really his followers, it was his children. He gave birth to them, and he specifically gave birth to them as Jesus. There is actually no Jesus because God is one. The Jesus we see in Scripture is actually God Himself that got flesh, that put on flesh to manifest. And to manifest as the Word of Jesus to create us to be the real Jesus. Because the Jesus we see in Scripture is the Word of God. To create us to be the real Jesus. So, as a mother, I understand this and use the word to create God's children
Yeah,
with the Father.
that's where I think that you're going wrong because the person described in the Bible as Jesus um, is as the Bible says is God, but it was a specific person. It was Yeshua ben Yosef or Jesus, son of Joseph. Um, his title was the Christ, the Messiah. And that's where I think you got things mixed up because you assumed the name and not the title. Where I, I still don't get it why you think that you might be Jesus because to me that's even if I would to adhere to the Bible, it's completely impossible. There was a person who no longer exists.
Okay, actually, I'm not Jesus. My son Ronaldo is. He's in the previous video you made about a week ago. He's Jesus. I gave birth to him as his mother, with God in his birth as his father. So he's our
I don't,
child,
I don't, I don't
Jesus.
think, I don't think you gave birth to him. You're a man, and I don't think that men are capable of giving birth unless you're a seahorse. So,
Okay.
the fact that you put this to me is just completely weird. Um, you,
Oh,
I could say that you might be some sort of spiritual guide, although I don't believe that the spiritual even exists. But there's no way for a man to give birth to anyone, let alone someone who has already been born.
I hear what you say, but our relationship with God is spiritual. Nothing physical is involved. God only created a physical realm to help us understand His concepts. So He is a spiritual being, and me being a mother is also just spiritual. I just basically have the function of giving the birth uh, with my husband, that is God, creating a family. which there previously was not. Previously, as you all know, the children of God are totally divided in different churches, fighting each other, basically misused by other children that also doesn't understand well for their own benefits, not really concerned about God's children, raising them up in their new godly life.
So I'm curious. What did Asherah say about all of this?
You curious about what?
I'm curious what Asherah said about you. What does she think of you?
Who, who is she?
You have not read the Bible.
And no, I know the Bible very well. Actually,
So
I'm not reading the Bible. I
so
I read the Bible, but I'm drinking it.
you should know who Asherah is. Asherah is Yahweh's wife.
Well, that is your opinion.
No,
As I said,
that's not my opinion. That's what we can find in scriptures and in earlier Jewish texts uh, uh, that describe Yahweh. Yahweh had a wife, which is Asherah. Asherah is still mentioned in the Bible. Um, so how many wives does God have?
the Christian God
Yes.
that I know by revelation has no wife. I am basically the first one as far as I know. The way God gets his wife, because God is one, the Bible is full of this, that God is one. There is no other God except him. So he had to build his own wife, create his own wife. That is up to his standard. And in doing that, he had to give birth, first of all, to his children and raising them up to become adults in his life. And only that way he can have a wife, where a wife is basically a companion as old as you or as grown up as you, to share life with you as you understand the same as your husband, you're on the same level, which that was the only way he can have a wife.
Now,
Because of the fact that he is one.
what seems strange to me is that the Bible is clear about men lying with men as with a woman. So the fact that you have now created the Christian God as being a homosexual is kind of strange, don't you think?
I hear you say it's strange. In human opinion, it is strange. But remember, God has no sex. There's no gender actually in God. Uh,
Not according to the Bible.
According to the Bible, God is our Father. And according to the Bible, He becomes our husband. Uh,
So
you see, there's
according to the Bible, God is male because he is a father. A father is a male. A father isn't a female, isn't genderless. A father is a clear male. So I still don't see where you get the idea that God has no gender. He is clearly described as male throughout the entire Bible. He is referred to as a he, not a she, or an it. So, in order for you to be his wife, that literally means that God is gay, God is homosexual.
actually not.
Actually,
Sex
yes.
has to do.
Actually, yes.
Well, that if God had a body, yes. If He was a physical person, that would be the case, as it is in human, in all the species He created, and also in humans. Humans has this situation where they create, where they by sex give birth to their children, and there has to be a father and or a husband also, and a wife, and the children. But God now that has no physical body and is not having children by sex, but by creating, is not in this category. Totally not.
So why is he referred to in the Bible as a he?
The reason why he is because in a relationship, I am the wife. He is my husband. I have to be obedient to him. These concepts he mentioned in the Bible, and it was very important to him because I still have to be obedient to him. And in our family, I'm the mother, he's the father, meaning he's still the head of the
I'm
family.
listening to you right now, and what you are saying is God is a he, God is a male, he is a him. If God is a
You're
male,
totally correct.
if God is a male and you are his wife, that is a gay relationship by definition.
No, you see, in a relationship with God, it is not about gender. It's about
So if it is not about gender, then why are you calling God a he or a him?
I'm calling him him. He's my husband. I am obedient to him. He's my head.
And
I follow him.
is a husband a male or a female?
In human relationships, a husband is male because he has that organ that he's using. But if you look spiritually, in a
Yes.
husband and wife, they also should be companion. They also should find this relationship where it's not just about
that's
sex.
why I brought up Asherah, because Asherah is a female. Asherah was Yahweh's wife. She first was Baal's wife and later moved on and became Yahweh's wife. So you have a male Yahweh and you have a female Asherah. God is mentioned as a male all throughout the Bible. There's no mention of God having no gender anywhere in the Bible. I mean, I would love to have you present the verse where it says that God is genderless, because I haven't found it in the Bible. So where did you get that idea?
Yeah, verse is there. I cannot give it to you now. It's on my computer, but the verse is there. If I can try and remember it, I did give it here and there. Especially where I used it a lot was with Harry Christus, that son of mine, uh,
Yeah,
with his atomic.
that's a whole new can of worms, because Harry Christus is refers to himself as Jesus in the second coming. So he is Jesus come as he came back to earth. Harry wrote a completely new Bible, uh, to which you do not adhere. As a matter of fact, Harry is from the Netherlands. I've spoken to him, and I've promised to him that I would preserve his Bible on our website, and I'm currently converting his website because all the links in there refer to his website. So I need to completely rewrite the entire website, which is an enormous piece of work. Um, so Hari Christus will completely contradict you, because he will deny that Ronaldo is Jesus, and he will deny that you are God's wife, and he also denies being your child.
You're totally correct there. He has his own Bible. We as Christians, we basically rely on personal relationship with God. We person we enjoy
That
that.
part I get, because there are Christians in the side chat. I think we have Shepherd's Voice. As far as I know, Shepherd's Voice is a Christian. If not, he might correct me in the side chat. Uh, he completely rejects all the ideas you have put forth so far. And he's not the only one, because you have linked me to court cases in South Africa that several churches have restraining orders against you. They do not want you anywhere near their church. Uh, so pretty much everyone is rejecting you. The only one who believes all of this is Johan Abrahams, and he has convinced a few people, um, and you've sent me a couple of sound files. I don't think those people are highly educated, so they might be easily convinced. I'm not. And I'll be honest, and I told you this on Twitter. I think you are a con man, and there is some reason, there's some benefit you get out of this, and I don't know what. But everything you have said so far, there's nothing biblical in what you're saying. So the fact that you call yourself Christian to me is already strange.
Okay, let me take a look into that first. There's two relationships mentioned in the Old Testament. God used Israel there as a shadow of his next revelations in the New Testament. First of all, Israel was used as a shadow of a child. God mentioned Israel was his child. But God also mentioned Israel was his wife. These two relationships are figured in the Old Testament. So God
Can,
took the
can you
one,
can you
the
tell
shadow.
can you tell me the specific verse where it says that Israel is his wife?
Uh, I'm not really into verses. As far as I can remember, it's Isaiah 53, there's one, but there are several of them where he used the idea that Israel was a wife to him. And of course, Israel was his child also. Those two things he mentioned several times in the Old Testament. Now, what is important in the New Testament, he's taking this to a higher realm or quality by actually making it very personal. He becomes personally everyone's father. Not anymore is he taking the group of Israel as his children, but he specifically have a personal relationship with everyone and say, I'm your father.
Okay,
Now, this children of God,
can you tell me the verse again where it says Israel is God's wife?
I think it's Isaiah 53. He said there, I'm your creator and I'm your husband to Israel
Well,
as a group, as a nation.
I'm
As far
trying
as
to.
I can remember, that is one that I often use, and I can fairly remember that that might be it. I'm so much into computer programs now that I just click and I don't really memorize the verses. But they are on Twitter. Uh, there I can easily give it to people, anyone that wants to have them. But the children of God that is now basically existing all over the world, they know they have, every one of them has a very personal relationship with God. In fact, Jesus was rejected for this idea that human beings, the nation of God, can now every one of them personally be a child of God, actually be born from God, and God as God is God. That was basically the reason why they killed Jesus, because they were this human beings taken by God on a group basis and identified as his children. And suddenly it became a personal concept in the New Testament. You are born from God, and a God as he is God, just a baby God needing to grow up.
Well, I'm currently looking at Isaiah 43. Um,
50,
it says
53, 53.
it. Sorry,
The chapter is 53, Isaiah
Isaiah
53,
Isaiah 53, but
fifty-three.
you don't know the specific verse.
No, I cannot remember that.
It seems to me that should be pretty important for you to remember because that is basically what your entire religion is built on. So, and maybe people in the chat can go look in the Bible where it actually says that, and then pop me the verse in the side chat. Um, so, but How many people are following you at this moment?
Well, they are not many. I believe they will obviously get many in future as God reveals to them personally. I'm not really looking for followers. I am just obedient to my husband and moving where he's sending me and saying what he wants me to say as his wife, opening up this new reality to the children of God. They need to grow up. I mean, any child knows that. Any species, but take human species as an example. From baby days, you know you need to grow up because a greater relationship is waiting as an adult, where you have your own kids and where you have your husband. In Christianity, this concept has been lost, and I'm just restoring that. Especially in the Revelations, there's a verse that say there will come a time that God will be a bridegroom to his bride. Now, the Christian babies take this as a group concept again. They say, yeah, it will be in a group. But that is changing God because God in the New Testament became a personal God with personal children. And just the same with his relationship with his wife. Why should he now suddenly marry a group of churches? I mean, I don't want to be married to a group. Really, I know you have two wives. I would like to
What? So
know more
here's the
about
point.
that. But the group,
Here's the point. Shepard's voice was kind enough to put a few things in the side chat. Um, it says that Israel is his bride. It also says in the Bible that the father has divorced Israel at one point. Um, this even if it would say this, even if it would say this, it would still mean that he's referring to the land of Israel as his bride, not to specific people, let alone someone in South Africa who's not even in Israel. So the strange twist that you made is that you thought that somehow this addresses you personally, and that's the part that I don't seem to get.
okay, I actually didn't thought that I was created to be this. Uh, from the beginning, the way God moved with me in my life, with my many encounters with Him and major shifts in my life, God actually created this in me so that I can have no other option but just accept, and that is who I am. It is not something of my mind, but a creation from God over time, over my entire life. From baby days that I grew up as a religious child in a religious family to God changing me from studying as a dentist to studying religion, becoming a religious reverend in a Dutch Reformed church where God then become a personal teacher of me. And then I grew rapidly when he became that personal teacher and as my personal father, to the point of where I reached this situation where God took me into being his bride and him being the bridegroom. That I've been for 10 years, being the bride to the
And
bridegroom. I was
that's the part
specifically,
I'd like to address then, at least for now. Um, so how did God tell you all of this?
well, when I stopped with religion, that was in Stanford when I was a reverend, God basically started teaching me himself.
How?
So, well, I had the Bible. I was sitting everywhere that I can sit, sometimes on the floor, sometimes on a chair, taking the Bible and reading where he point me to read. I just feel a prompting in my spirit or my soul telling me I have to.
how did he point you to read?
How do I what? No, he didn't force me. It was just a longing to read. the Bible mentioned it as a baby drinking milk, and later an adult eating
I don't.
solid food
I
and
think
meat.
you don't. I think you don't get the question. My question
Okay.
is, uh, how did God do this? How did you determine that it was God guiding you? How was that different from you deciding to read certain scriptures yourself?
I had these two major encounters with God in my life. At 18, somebody come to our school. There was a whole meeting, and I met God there personally in this guy's witnessing. I met him there, and I got to experience how he how he felt, how you feel inside in your soul, how the feeling is. Uh, and then the second time, when I had to give
You're
up,
talking about feelings and attributing those feelings to God. My question to you was, how do you differentiate your own feelings and those that are given to you by God? What's the difference?
I would say the quality and the difference of it. We are used to human feelings. We know them. And when we experience in our heart that we actually want to meet with God, we have that desire. And then suddenly something happened, something totally different, something that we have never experienced before, and something of a high quality. Then we just know. We just
No,
know. We just
no,
sort of get that
we
knowledge
don't just
that this
know.
is now
No,
not us.
no, listen. We don't just know because knowledge is demonstrable. So if you know, you could demonstrate the difference, and you clearly cannot.
Well, the
So
difference was this. I
what mechanism did you use to determine whether or not you were hallucinating or that what you were experiencing was actually a god?
actually I was using no mechanism. I just knew it.
I see,
How that is possible
and
without a
that's no,
mechanism?
that's completely impossible. That is how people trick themselves in believing things that aren't really true. If if
Yeah, to
if
you
there
it
is a
will
good
be
reason,
impossible.
if there is a good reason that a god interfered with your life, you would be able to demonstrate that this was a god. You would be able to say, I checked this by whatever mechanism you want to use to differentiate between your own thoughts and thoughts that were projected into you externally. So how would anyone know this?
I don't think there's a way by which I can describe it with my mental capabilities, because
Actually,
this is God. That is God doing
actually
something.
there is a way. There is a way to make it visible. It would you need to have I think it's an MRI. I forgot the exact term. They can scan your brain and they can actually see whether or not a thought is coming to you from an external source or whether it's just you thinking. So it would be it science has progressed so far that we can actually demonstrate this. And to me it would be quite easy that if you are the only one on planet Earth that has this particular idea of Christianity, it would be very important because that would mean that you are now a direct medium to God, which is how Ronaldo described you. Because you have taught Ronaldo that he can't trust his own brain, he can't trust his own dreams. They need to be interpreted by you, and you will tell him whether or not a dream comes from God. Isn't that correct?
No, that is totally incorrect.
Uh,
What I I'm basically the light to my son, showing him the way in which God will meet with
Can
him.
you show him the way if you don't even know the way yourselves? Because
Uh, so
so far
let,
all you have demonstrated is that you don't even know. You just feel and you think you know, but you don't actually know.
okay, let me give you his birth as Jesus.
No, I'm not interested in Ronaldo at this point. I'm interested in what you tell him. And
What I tell him.
those are two completely different things. Because I am convinced at this point that you are telling him things that aren't true. And you have no way of demonstrating that what you are saying is actually true.
Actually, everything I tell Ronaldo, I show him the verse in the Bible, and then I say, now I give you as a mother what I gave you. Now you wait on your daddy to create what I've said. So I said, I am giving birth to you as your mother. Now you wait on your daddy
hold on. So
to manifest it.
what you are saying right now is that you are pointing to a specific verse, and then you are explaining to him what that verse actually means. He can't rely on
Uh,
just reading the verse himself. He needs you
what he
to be
has,
there to interpret it.
what I say is this: I give birth to him as Jesus, and
No, you
God do
didn't.
it.
No, you didn't.
So he manifest. God Himself create the Jesus. I cannot. I'm not the
You
creator.
told him
I'm just the light.
you told him you convinced him that you gave birth to him, where it actually was his biological mother who gave birth to him. You've told him that you are somehow a direct medium to God for some reason, and I still don't know that. He believes you. Maybe he's not as skeptical as everyone else is, but you have nothing so far that proves that what you say is actually true. And you go against the Bible not on one specific thing, but on pretty much the entire Bible, because the Bible claims to be the inerrant word of God. If it actually is the inerrant word of God, it would mean that everyone who reads the Bible knows what it says and doesn't need to rely on someone else to interpret the verses or to explain the verses. It wouldn't be necessary. I mean, I can read the Bible, I can read what it says. There's no big mystery. So why do people need you?
God sent His witnesses that have special anointing in His Holy Spirit to be able to be a light to people. So we are that light.
And
When the light shines, God.
how can we distinguish which people God sent and which are imposters? How can you tell one from the other?
That you tell when God create what He said in you. Only then, and there's just no other way.
Can you say that
So
again? Can you say? I asked a specific
when
question, and I don't think you either heard the question or you answered it. I asked you
okay,
if you say that God has sent specific people. Since there are a lot of people who say different things, how can we determine which of those are actually the people that God sent and which are the imposters? How can we differentiate one from the other?
when a certain person speak to you, and God do manifest, create what that person say, then you know he's from God. So if I tell you you are Jesus,
We have we
and
have
God
we
come to
have
you
seen we have
and He
seen
make you Jesus.
we have seen several of these people. We have seen David Koresh in Waco, Texas. We have seen Jim Jones in Guyana. We have seen and you met him, Harry Christus, here in Holland. At this point in time, there are 5 people on Earth that I'm aware of who claim to be Jesus. One of them is female, so maybe she should hook up with you and she can be the husband and you can be the wife or whatever you want to do. But
Uh,
I don't think that if Jesus came back, he came back as 5 different people, and with you included, a sixth one who claims to be creating even more Jesuses. So the entire planet will be flooded with Jesuses. I I don't see that. It's also not biblical.
I hear what you say,
Yes.
but this is my calling as a mother to give birth to Jesus.
No, this
That
is
is
what
just who
this
I
is what
am.
I think this is what you have convinced yourself of to make yourself special in some kind of way. I don't still don't know what your goal is with all of this, but I don't believe you for a second. I don't believe that what you are saying is true because you have given me no way of determining whether you are telling the truth or other people are telling the truth. You, there's no mechanism to check. And if you were really sent by God, there would be a definite mechanism that I could use to check if what you're saying is actually true. And you haven't come up with anything like that.
Right. What happened basically is this: there is no sign for unbelievers. We are the sign. So Ronaldo is a sign. He's Jesus. I gave birth
Ronaldo,
to him
Ronaldo is not
as his
Ronaldo.
mother.
Hold on, Ronaldo is not a sign. Ronaldo is a boy who is convinced by a man, that man being you. Ronaldo is not a sign. Ronaldo is not Jesus. Ronaldo is Ronaldo. And I think he is being fooled by someone for some reason. And again, I'm still asking you, how can I check whether or not you are an imposter or whether or not other people are imposters? There should be an easy way to check. Should I mean, there are a lot of people who claim to be the Messiah, who claim to be someone special in the eyes of God, and yet no one can come up with a mechanism how we could check this. God is all powerful. God is all knowing. So the fact that even if you are telling the truth, God would have known that no one would believe you except for a small amount of people. So he would have done better. For me, that's a clear indication that you have nothing to do with God.
Uh, uh, when you suddenly realize you are Jesus, then you know. When your identity changes and you understand you are Jesus now. When that happens in you, that's a mighty powerful thing that happens.
Yes,
And then you
and
know.
there are
And
also
then
and
you
there are
know
also
what I said is
there
true.
are also people who claim to be Napoleon, and they have a powerful feeling that they are actually Napoleon. They are reincarnation of Napoleon Bonaparte, and they're completely convinced, except they're not who they say they are. And for now, that is all you have. To me, you are
Yeah,
complete.
that is
To
true.
me, you are. There's no way for me to distinguish whether you are completely delusional, you are a deliberate con man, or you're telling the truth. There's no way of checking.
Yeah, you have no way to check except when it happens to you, then you know. And everybody listening to me
So
also,
why so why
they have no
is
way to
so why
check.
is so why is your God so impotent that he can't make sure that what you are that everyone would just believe you? Why didn't he come up with a way so people would actually see you for who you say you are? Isn't your God
Uh,
powerful enough to do that?
he's a God of love. So those with the heart to be his child, Jesus, he will create that in them. And I am just a light. I'm just saying they are Jesus.
So you
As I
what you
told
are
you
saying
too,
what you
you
are
are
saying
Jesus.
you don't want to answer the question, but what you're basically saying is that your God is impotent, your God is not all knowing, your God is not even a true God because he can't do what you say that he's doing.
He can do what I say. There's Ronaldo. He's Jesus. We
No, no,
gave
no.
birth to him. I
Ronaldo,
am his
Ronaldo,
mother. God is his
Ronaldo was.
father.
Hold on. Ronaldo was
Yeah.
convinced by you. Ronaldo didn't come up with this idea all by himself. He was convinced by you.
Not really.
And
I'm just a
and
light.
and
God created
and
him to be
and if
Jesus.
you want to know, how I know this is because I have looked at the court cases and I have done my research. The reason why people do not want to engage with you and people have put out restraining orders against you is because you are telling people things that aren't true.
Well, yes, they don't have the relationship yet. So to them, it's not true because they're still babies needing to grow up. And one day they will be a mother too. They must just grow up,
Yeah,
not get
so
stuck in
so
baby life.
everyone who on the planet who ever read the Bible has no clue what the Bible says. They have no
No,
one
that
no one no one on earth um, deserved the right to have an interaction with God the way you had. You are something special from 6 billion people on the planet. You are the only one that God chose to be his wife. You are so extremely special that he picked you. He picked someone from a place no one heard of, Robertson in South Africa and on the West Cape. No one ever heard of the town of Robertson. No one ever heard of Johan Abrahams. No one is noticing that God is talking to you. You're not on the news worldwide. Um, no one recognizes what you say. So basically, no one believes you. And why would you think that an all-powerful God would have someone who is so feeble and so powerless do his bidding and basically get nowhere? Because you have been doing this for what, 20 years now?
yep. For 10 years, I've been the bride. Then God changed some in my soul to become the wife, to be the wife. So from that moment on, as a bride, I've been basically judging. And then when I become a wife, I had to take up my responsibilities as a wife, giving birth to God's children
Yeah,
and
you
raising
you
them
are
up.
you are
Because
great
up to
in
now,
not you are great
organizations
in
did this.
you are great in not answering questions. So from the research that I did is that the some of the court cases are 20 years old. So you have been telling people this for at least 20 years. Is that correct? Yes or no? That's a simple yes or no question.
No, that's incorrect. The court cases was on totally something else. It's only about 5 years now in Kubela. that
So what you
I'm telling
told
the
me, so
people I
what you
am their
told me on,
mother.
so what you told me on Twitter are all lies because you told me that the court cases against you were because you were God's wife, and then you linked me the court cases which are 20 years old. So if
No,
you lie, if you lie
no
to me,
the court cases.
if you lie to me on Twitter about what actually happened in your life, how would I even be able to trust you in anything else you say? Because you were really specific. You sent me the court cases. You wanted me to check. You sent me the links to all the forums where people have checked this. You made that specific claim everywhere where I could check. And now you're saying that wasn't the case. This is only in the last 5 years. So, did you lie to the people on the forums? Did you lie to the people in the churches that you linked me to?
You're thinking now that I lied, but you just don't
I
understand the
can
whole
check.
situation.
I can check that you lied. You sent. You
Well, you're
sent.
welcome to
You
do
sent.
that and
You
link
sent me.
us.
Listen. You sent me the names and addresses. Pastor Are van Eck, New Life Christian Center Ministries. Pastor Gert Erasmus, Philadelphia. Pastor Drivus Erasmus from AGS. These, you sent me this. I'm reading your website where it specifically states that you have been telling people this for at least 20 years now. So don't tell me that I'm incorrect. It is literally on your website that you have been spreading all of this for the past 20 years.
I have been, my persecution started in the Herberg Kinderhuis, where I acted. Oh, there's Artemis. Hi, son. How are you? I'm
Son,
glad you're there at last.
Uh,
you're not that much older than me, Johan, Mom, whatever your name is. Thank you for welcoming me. I apologize for being so late. I had something to attend to, but please carry on.
yeah, I have to check if you are actually there. You are finally, finally. And I thought you wouldn't be able to make it. So glad you're here.
Thank you.
Uh,
I
so
it drove like a bat out of hell. Just ask my dad.
so did he finish the soup?
Um, as much as there was available to eat.
Okay, okay. So you're new in this.
No, I have been listening to this since Jump Street.
Okay, so
Um, I made a comment earlier in a DM that said that my dad was in a surprisingly good mood for having just been in a car accident, and that changed just about the moment I sent that because he was pissed off that I was paying attention to my phone and not him slurping his dribbly food.
okay,
At any rate, like I said, carry on.
okay.
But I am caught up. I don't need a summation of anything that's happened already. I haven't been able to write anything down, sadly, but I do have a reasonable recollection of most of what has happened.
Okay. So, do you have any questions or?
Well, I've got questions, but I feel like we've interrupted. What would you like for me to call you? Johan, what would you like for me to call you?
Yes, say again.
What would you like for me to call you?
Mother, of course. But I'm not forcing. Love never forces.
You would
But
like
my son Peter has commanded me not to call him my son. But that's who you are to me.
Yeah, you will.
But-
You will annoy me quite a bit if you try to refer to me as your son. Is there something more comfortable I can refer to you as other than mother, since I just left, spending better part of 3 hours with my own? You are not.
My name is Johan.
You are not a little German white woman.
My name is Johan. You can use that. And
Okay.
then in Kubela, they call me father. So I don't think you want to call me father. But
Well,
in Kubela, I have the
gender
general
roles can
name
be
as
confusing.
Fa-
I understand that.
the general title as father.
I understand that gender roles are a bit of a toss up.
Yeah. Yeah, we've already established that the God of the Bible is gay, so there is that.
I guess if I were to ask my one overriding question rather is how many Jesuses are there, and by what description does Jesus go?
At this stage on the internet, there are few, but they're not on Twitter. They're on Facebook. They are from Komphela. I gave birth to them. Me and God, we gave birth to them. But Ronaldo is the most prominent one.
Okay, first of all, that's a response and not an answer. Could you start over with actually addressing the question of
Adi, what else would you like? Jesus is on Facebook, not on Twitter. I mean,
there's a bunch of Jesus. I've worked with a bunch of guys named Jesus. Unless your contention is that every one of them somehow was the physical manifestation of Christ figure.
Adi, you're the landscaper. You should be familiar with all the Jesuses.
Exactly. Spent 25 years working with Hispanics. Many of them were named Jesus.
Yeah, so I haven't been able to figure this out.
What is a Jesus? It's obviously not the being or the person described in the Bible. So what is a Jesus?
A Jesus is a baby God, born from his mother and father.
Are you a fucking Mormon?
No, I'm not fucking. I'm creating with my words.
No, I didn't ask if you were fucking a Mormon. I asked if you were a fucking Mormon.
No, they cannot create with their mouths.
No,
I
but
create with the word of God.
Gods of their own planet. It sounds an awful lot like what you're selling. Sounds an awful lot like what you're selling.
I'm not selling. I'm creating. I'm giving birth. I'm the mother.
I've read
not the father, and you are Jesus.
Oh, thanks.
That's the best name that exists. The Bible says a name above all names.
The Catholic half of my family is going to love to hear that you have decided that I am Jesus.
So that's just basically how I do it. I just say, I'm mommy, God is daddy, and you baby Jesus.
That's
as easy as that.
Why do you use these infantile terms? Do you not recognize that mommy and daddy are terms used by toddlers and very few other people? It's generally used as a really deep-seated insecurity rather by adults, and the fact that you use it a lot as a, what'd you say you were, 59-year-old?
No, it is just because you're getting born as a baby, and those terms should be incorporated in your language to God and your mother. That is love. That's just love manifesting.
Based upon what is that true?
Actually, the word Abba, Father. Abba means daddy.
I should be infantile towards things because what?
No, not you. The new you. When you get born, those things will automatically come from you, from your new spirit of love to your mother and father. We will be mommy and daddy to you. You will love us. That's what Abba, Father means.
Wait a minute. First of all, you're going to claim ownership of this mother role, which is, first of all, that's creepy as fuck, because my mom's only got one boob and you don't have any. Really weird.
I know I don't have a boob. I'm spiritual. We have a cyberspace the family now.
Spiritual breaths in a vagina.
No. Spiritual. I'm just mom. In the fact that I give birth to you as Jesus. I am the mother. I'm speaking these words to you. God is not sitting here. Your father is not sitting here.
Your spiritual birth canal is actually the thing, right through the vaginal walls into the world comes forth this new adult.
It's a spiritual vagina.
Yeah, this is sounding like a really like a scene that got cut out of the West Coast.
I do have a serious question. What is spiritual, Johan?
It's in my words. My words are carrying the Spirit of God. I am your mother, God your father.
That's not
you,
that's
baby.
Not,
you get born as baby Jesus.
That's not answering the question. That is
My
where.
hat.
That is where.
It is answering question.
No, that is.
It is answering question.
That is.
It is you not understanding.
If you just listen a little, that is telling us where is.
Where's my hat?
What exactly does the word spiritual mean?
It's my hat is spiritual because I said it is. It is.
No, that's physical. Spirit is like love. You cannot see it, you can feel it. So you should start feeling me now as your mother. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I'm literally in pain. My side is
Artie, it seems you made it in time. You have a new mother and you may feel her.
Oh my God.
Yes, two now. A physical one and a spiritual one. His spirit is getting into existence now. But God is doing the creation. He's your daddy with you doing the creation work. Opening up this new life to you.
Johan, if you are looking for a way to deter people, it would be very good to tell people that you are their new mommy and they can feel you. I think that would cause a lot of people to turn around and run like hell.
I think you should be offering people to suckle at your teat.
And I still,
it's actually not feeling me physically. It is feeling the words.
I still would like to know what spiritual is, because feeling. I mean, I can feel things. I can pinch myself and I can feel that. I can feel hot and I feel cold, and I still don't know how to feel spiritual. What is spiritual?
Words are spiritual. Look, I can make you happy.
Words are words, and they're different in different languages.
I can make you angry.
Words
make you angry.
Words don't make me angry. The message that a word conveys could make me angry, but a word in itself, words don't make me angry. No.
So what makes you angry? It's not the words of the people.
Let's get back to my question. What is spiritual?
It is anger. It's a feeling. Feeling or spirit is the same thing.
So emotion and spirit are the same thing.
Emotion, spirit, feeling is on the same level.
You've got two words that you have to choose from. Most everyone uses emotion, but you're going to use spiritual because
God is spirit.
So God is emotion, and only my dogs can feel emotion when they're in the spirit of the God that you have chosen. Is that correct?
No, this God what I have chosen gives spiritual or feeling meaning to these words. I'm your mommy.
My dog gets emotional when I say I love you. So my dog believes in your God that you've chosen?
And now look at it this way. Is there not a feeling of love between a mother and a baby? Baby doesn't love in the beginning. They're very selfish.
My dog reacts physiologically when I say I love you. So my dog has chosen the same God that you have?
Dogs are instinctual. They created to live
Oh,
instinctually. You are intellectual. You
No. Dogs have emotions. Dogs are a social species. Dogs feel compassion. So let's say you would fall in a river and you would have a dog. The dog would do everything in its power to rescue you, even though you're a different species. The fact that you're not aware of this is probably because you don't own a dog. But yeah, you're completely wrong about this.
You know, he was going to admit that he chose his God again if you'd just let him.
Okay, let's get back to mommy and baby. They love each other. You should know that. There is a love there.
Yes, my dog loves me.
So, no, it is now. Maybe you never loved your mommy.
Do you know? Do you know?
No
Do
one
you
has
know
ever
why
Was she
kids?
too strict?
Do you know
Was she
why?
too
You've
strict?
never
Do
been
you
loved.
do you know why kids end up loving their parents? Do you even know that?
The what?
Why do kids end up loving their parents?
Because of what is between them.
What is bet- what is what is
Parents,
what is
look,
what is
parents,
between what
parents
is
raise their kid.
what is between them?
There's feeling between them. It is in the who they are. It's baby and mommy and baby and daddy. And if
Have
they
you
love
have
their
you have
child,
you
then the
heard
child learn to love
have you
the
heard that
parents too.
hold on, have you heard that there are
Very mature
cases
response.
where babies are switched in the hospital and end up with the wrong parents and end up loving the wrong parents? So it is safe to say that there is nothing between parent and child. Nothing
Yeah, no,
that
it is
that
not.
is there. Nothing that is there from birth. It is taught.
Yeah, no,
It is taught.
it is it is created later in the or it emerges later if the mother loves the child starts loving the mother too because of the good attention the child gets, because of sacrifices the mother makes to the child. There
Wait a
starts
minute.
a love
You
between the
think
child
children
and the
recognize
mother and the
sacrifices?
father.
Are you aware that there are children in this world that grow up with a mother they absolutely hate because of what the mother does?
Or they love in spite of it?
Exactly.
Only a Christian can love his enemies, can love in
Oh,
spite
for
of
fuck's
the
sake.
bad that he's getting, because it's an
Well, that's a
ability
horseshit
from
response.
God.
Only Christians can. That
Yeah.
as soon as you say something that fucking stupid, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Only Christians can.
Yeah.
Pretty sure you're wrong.
How does a normal human being love somebody that torture him?
How would you know
How is
you're
it
a
possible?
Christian?
Well, I love my enemies.
But you're a Christian, so how would you know
Robertson.
how a normal human being does it?
I love my enemies. I died
So
for
how
them.
would you know that a normal human being doesn't?
I died for my enemies.
You're not answering.
Yeah,
You're not answering the questions.
Answer.
You're not answering the
Okay,
questions.
come again. Okay, come again.
It is a problem with you because you do not listen. When we had a conversation on Twitter, I would send you a tweet and you would give a response that had absolutely nothing to do with the tweet that I sent you. You have no way of you can't read comprehensively. You can't listen to people. The only thing that matters to you is Johan Abrahams and no one else in the world. You say you love your enemies. I very much doubt that because you don't even give them respect. If people ask you things not to do, you will keep doing them. I've asked you to not refer to me as your son. First, you replied with son instead of the O, the @ symbol. Then you used 3 dots. You used pretty much everything you had in your power to still do what you wanted to do. You have no respect for other people. So don't tell me Christians love their enemies, because all you try to do is annoy them and make them angry. And that's not love.
Oh, he can't make me angry. Look at him.
Good. So I can call you my son.
No. Oh, I mean,
Why not?
you're welcome to, but it makes you sound as stupid as you look.
But okay, I will be with being stupid for your sake.
Okay.
My question to you is, Johan, why can't you be respectful towards other people?
Because I have a higher living principle. I love. It is a higher living principle than the respect of the human beings.
You have
I can love my enemies.
You have no respect for other beings, and that is what I'm asking. Why do you not have respect for other people?
It's a little arrogant to think you've got enemies, but anyway.
You cannot have respect and love. You have to choose for one of the two. When I choose for God,
Wow, really?
I choose for love. So I love you now.
Also,
you are my children.
Wait. So what you're saying is that the children can't have respect for their parents?
If you love someone, you don't respect them. That's an interesting look into your fucking mind.
Humans can do any wrong thing, but now God is unable to have sex with his children because
you're still not answering the question. See, this is your problem. When it gets to difficult questions, you try to deflect. You try to change the subject. I'm still asking you. I'm still asking you the same question. So, according to you, children cannot have respect for their parents.
I don't think he loves God.
According to me, we must give up respect for love. Love is a higher morality factor than respect. Respect just does not reach where love reaches.
And that is not answering the question.
Wow.
That is not answering the question. I can love someone and completely disrespect them.
It's impossible. When you love somebody,
that's not impossible.
You love him.
I have
if you love somebody, you can do nothing wrong to that person.
No,
impossible.
So if you love someone and someone asks you to do something specific, you can decide not to do that, to do the exact opposite, and that to you means love?
Love always do the perfect thing.
Yes, the perfect thing.
Because God is perfect.
The perfect thing would be that if someone who you say you love would ask you something and you would then do it. That would be the perfect thing. But you do not do that.
No, I do it. Why? What do I not do?
No, you don't do
that.
You
asked me not to call you my son.
Yeah.
I'm not calling you my son. I don't remember that I said I...
Have you stopped calling me your son?
I basically say my feeling for you is still there, but I try my best to obey you.
Johan, that was a yes or no question. Have you stopped calling me your son?
I have not stopped loving you as my son, but I stopped calling you that.
You have not stopped. So
I have stopped calling you that. Listen.
What I'm trying to point out here is that you have no love for anyone but Johan Abrahams, because that is the only person you love.
No, your son, I love you.
The rules
no, I love you.
The rules you make are the only rules.
You chose love instead of respect.
Yes.
Because it was an easier word to spell.
Yeah. So you have no love, you have no respect.
No.
You've already shown that. If people ask
no, I love you. You my son.
If people
are you rejected to be my son?
I love you too. Let me tell you how little I respect you.
Yeah, you two have respect, But now you learn about the
No,
higher
no, no, no.
quality from
I love
God.
you in
That
some
is
respect.
love.
I have no respect for you, so I must love you instead.
I'll be completely honest with you, Johan. I have no respect for you whatsoever. Not at all.
Zero.
That's no problem. I'm creating the love.
Not
No,
as
you're
a
not.
man.
You're
So it's
what
good.
Not as an
It's
the
good
intellectual.
if the
only
respect is already
Not as a.
gone.
the
Then I
only
don't need to
thing
take that away too.
the only thing
I
that you
just
are
don't wish you
creating is
still.
hate. And my
The
question
only.
is
Ah,
why are you
that
creating hate?
that happens when you reject love.
No,
Then
my
hate
question to you is
is
my question to you is why are you creating hate?
no. Rejection
It's
of
not
love
no.
cause you to
It is a fact.
of God's love.
Because
Rejection of God's love
because the
is
longer
is
we
is
talk,
Reject
the
love.
longer we
What the
talk,
fuck does that
Johan,
even mean?
Johan,
I can love you whether you want to be loved by me or not. What the fuck does it mean to reject love? Not reciprocate? That's a totally different fucking word for reasons. It's not even just spelled different. It means different fucking things. What does it mean to reject love? By the way, while you're at it, what the fuck is a Jesus? You still haven't answered that question.
you, Jesus. I answered it. I give birth to you to be
That's
Jesus.
not a fucking
I'm your mother.
You.
Because your father, he loves you.
You are gravity.
Hatred, reject love. You see, you have you have hatred or love. You cannot have both.
Artie, let's dumb it down a little. Johan, what is a car?
Say again.
What is a car?
A car.
An automobile.
Yeah, automobile. Yes.
What is it?
What is it?
Yes.
It's problems.
Well, we want to know if you're describing words the same way that we are, and if we're not using the same words that mean the same thing, that's problematic. So, could we start with? Could you describe for us what an automobile means to you?
Automobile to me means I can get quickly to my job. I climb in here at the house and I drive with it to where I'm working. That's what it means to me.
And ask you what it meant.
And a steering wheel.
And ask you what it meant to you. I ask you what.
If people ask you what is it, you give a description. You do not say how you use it. You give a description of what it
Okay, should I give a description?
If I ask you what is a car,
it is white.
If I ask you what is a car, you say it is a mechanical object, has 4 wheels for the most part. It has a steering wheel. It has an engine. It runs on gasoline or petrol or whatever you call it in South Africa. That's how you describe a car. You don't say it is a way to get quickly to my job, because that could also be a bicycle. That could be a motorcycle.
Peter.
Yes.
I think it's worth noting that that's not the first time that he has described something in terms that are utilitarian to him. It's not what a thing is; it's how it's useful to him.
Yes, and that is how I wanted to make it comprehensible to him, that if we ask what is a Jesus, you don't tell us who is Jesus, you tell us what a Jesus is. Describe
again, I understand a bit better now what you want. A Jesus is a son of God, the child of God. Getting born from God to be exactly the same, just having to grow up to be a full-fledged God. That's what Jesus is.
If that is the case, then why do you need the name?
Which name? Jesus.
Yeah, because that seems to describe a specific entity in the book.
Because God said we should do everything in His name, so that should be your name. Your name.
You can't do anything in Jesus' name if you are Jesus. You can't do.
So there has to come a change in your identity.
No, listen.
Who you are.
Listen to what I'm saying. You cannot do anything. Yes? You cannot do anything in Jesus' name if you are Jesus.
Yeah, when you are Jesus, you do it in your new name of Jesus.
No, you don't do it in your new
Because that's
name.
who you are then.
No,
Because
you
that's who
don't
you
do
are
it in
then.
your new name. You still do it as yourself, in your own name.
See why at your IQ
Yeah,
level you
in
focus
your
on
opinion, yes. In your opinion. But now when God created you to
In the
be
opinion,
Jesus,
how language works. You're still using language, right? You're using language to
oh,
communicate.
yes, I'm using language.
Okay,
So
so
when you
why
get
are
born
you
again as
listen,
Jesus,
listen, why are you redefining language so no one has a clue what you're talking about?
because
fairly
God has
invalid
to
question.
give you the clue. Look, I'm just a light. God is creating the understanding. We call it revelation.
You are the
When it
dimmest
strikes
fucking
you,
light.
you know it's from God your Father because He's there with you. So maybe it can strike you any moment now, or maybe in your second chat.
Who finds you impressive? Are you aware of anyone
Ah,
that's impressed by
He's not
you?
here. He's not here. Adi, is he with you? Adi,
say
No.
again.
is he
I
with
said,
you?
is there anyone that finds you impressive? Do you know of someone that finds you impressive?
Impressive.
Yeah,
No, I don't
Yeah.
want to be impressive. I want to be a mother. Just
Right.
giving birth to
You would
my
like you would
babies.
like to impress upon people a thing. How many people find you impressive?
Have you
Impressive.
have you considered
No,
the
I
fact?
want to be loved. I don't want to be worshipped.
Holy
Humans want
Christ.
that, and
Okay,
not
I realize
God. God doesn't want it.
again you're struggling with I'm asking you a very specific question.
Yes?
Impressive
Go
means
again.
impressive means to have impressed upon someone a thing that you would like or not like for them to believe. That's what it means to impress upon. Okay. So how many people find you impressive?
That I'm impressing on them. No,
How
I
many
don't
people
do
are you
that.
aware of that find you impressive?
No, I don't do that. They find God impressive. He impresses.
I feel like we're not even on the same planet right now because I'm asking you a very specific question about a very specific word, and I've defined how I'm using the word, and you've still responded in a way that doesn't address the question in any manner whatsoever.
No.
It's as if you're doing that on purpose.
I think he is doing that on purpose.
Wait a minute.
No,
What?
no, it's just not part of my character to be impressive.
Because he doesn't
It's
because he
just not my
doesn't
character to be
because he
impressive.
doesn't have the answer. I've asked several questions that he will run from because he does not have the answer.
Well, I started with a sarcastic question, and then when I realized that he wasn't even going to answer the question regardless of how he interpreted it, then I just had to know.
Yeah, I have a question you might be able to answer, Johan.
Thank you. Keep it simple.
Why is your God not powerful enough to reach me?
Artemis is enjoying himself. I'm happy. I'm happy for you, my son.
I'm grateful that you existed.
Yeah.
Every other
So
time
that might be called spirit now. Look, Artemis has a laughing spirit now.
Can we get back? Can we
I
get
was
back
laughing
to
in front
the?
of my
Can we
parents
get?
on the way
Hold on,
home, and
hold
they were
on, hold
concerned
on,
about my.
hold on, hold on. Can we get back to the question? Can you answer it, please?
Don't you think we should laugh a bit more?
You see,
Listen, I laugh my completely out of it.
this is how you demonstrate that there's no love and no respect coming from you.
No, I love you guys. You my babies, remember?
No,
I'm
because
creating
if you
you.
would,
I'm busy creating new babies.
You would at least have the decency to
You
answer.
Jesus now.
You have at least have the decency not to talk over me, and you would have the decency to answer a question if someone asks you a question. Or has God not told you what manners are? Has God not told you how to interact with other people of your species? Is it
No,
that
that's human
difficult?
being.
Is it
That is human being
difficult? Is it
principles.
that difficult for you to show some respect
Oh,
and
we don't have laws.
to answer a question if you are asked a question?
I answered all your questions. You just don't understand them. My answers, that is. Because they
What was your
spiritual. They must
what
be
was your
spiritually
answer?
discerned.
Hold on, hold on,
What we
hold
don't
on.
understand, what we don't
Let me
understand
test
is why
this.
you give responses and call
What
them
was the
answers.
question? What was the question I just asked?
Good question. Can you ask again?
Oh, you gave an answer, didn't you? To what
Yeah,
question?
but he didn't
To
understand
what
it.
question? To
So
what question? To what
he
question?
thought I didn't answer him.
To what question did you give an answer?
Well, I think we're still busy with Artemis' question. Am I
No,
impressive?
we're not
Am I
busy with
impressing
Artemis'
people?
question. I asked you a specific question and you gave an answer, and then you told me that I didn't like the answer. So I'm curious as to what question you answered. Repeat the question to
I
me.
answer your questions. I
Which
answer your questions.
what was my question?
What? Wait a minute. What does it mean to answer?
I was so busy with my love for you and answering your question that I'm out of the question now. Just ask it again, my son.
So we can
I
so we can
touching
so we
myself
can
of the
just
amount
say
of love that I feel from you as you dismiss everything that I say.
yeah, we can just say that you do not have the respect or the love to listen to someone else. All you want,
No, you can
want.
see I listen to you.
No, you're not.
No, I'm afraid we can't.
No, because you use a completely different language. If we ask you a question, you give an answer to a question that no one has asked.
And that's your interpretation
No, that's not my
of my answer.
interpretation. That's not my interpretation. If I ask you, Artemis and I both have asked you, what is a Jesus? And the answer we get
A Jesus, I told you, it's a
You,
baby God.
Johan, shut up.
Jesus.
Johan, shut up for a minute and listen. We have both
Yeah.
asked you, what is a Jesus? You then give the answer,
Okay.
who is a Jesus? So can you now please
So what is
answer?
a Jesus? A Jesus is a God.
A Jesus is a God.
Again, back to the Mormon.
Yes.
And so let's get deeper into this. What is a God?
What is a God? He's a person, a
Remember,
being.
wait. Hang on. Before you answer, remember, you're describing me.
No,
Yeah.
Artie, don't confuse him. Let him answer what a God
No,
is.
he said I was a Jesus.
I'm curious.
Yeah,
I don't think he even knows what a God is. So
He doesn't. That's why I wanted to make sure he threw in the fact that he was describing me.
yeah. So
Okay, there's different gods.
We all think.
Wait.
There's a father God, the mother God, and the baby
There
God.
are different gods.
Yeah, the father God, the
Johan,
mother God,
Johan,
which is me,
can
and you, the
answer-
baby God,
Johan,
Jesus.
can you answer the question and not ramble on in your own fantasy? What is a
Wait,
God?
no,
Describe what a God is. Not who a God is. Describe what a God is.
Well, he revealed himself to us. He's a father, the perfect father.
That is telling us who a God is. I want to know what a God is. What defines a God?
It's his character.
That's it.
First of all, love,
it?
and then joy, and then peace, and glory, and power.
Those are all attributes that human beings have. So, what is a God?
A God is someone that has these characteristics, these feelings as a characteristic. He
So
doesn't.
a God is a
need to
human.
show it in
A
the
God.
world.
A God is just a human being.
No, he's not a human being. He's a spiritual being. He exists in the spiritual realm of the heaven. We also call it the heaven.
So humans aren't spiritual beings?
What is a God?
A God is a spiritual being living in the heaven, calling himself Father. This is a real God. There are many other gods that humans think they are. But the real God is a Father.
Does he have a body? Does a God have a body?
No, he's spirit.
So when you wait a minute. When you told that Artie was a god and you told that Ronaldo was a god, Artie clearly has a body because I can see it. It's not a beautiful one, but he's got a body.
Not pretty. Nobody
But
wants to see that.
Adi can be a god. Ronaldo can be a god. So, what's a god?
A God is a spirit I'm creating now in Artemis and in you. Then you God and be human.
Sounds like a fucking game show, man.
Yeah. So you create gods.
I'm using the words that God gave us in the Bible to create, to give birth to Jesus.
Did you also create the God of the Bible? And when did you create him?
No, He created me.
God,
Remember, He made me a wife.
Wait a
He made
minute.
me a mother.
Wait a minute. Those things are mutual exclusive. That doesn't work. You create.
Yeah, in your mind it doesn't work, but it's a human mind that you're using.
You just said that you create gods.
Yes, Artemis. Look how he's enjoying it.
Therefore, it logically follows that the God of the Bible was created by you.
No, He created me. I'm creating our children. I'm the mother of the children, which God creates as a father. I'm just a mother. He's a father.
How were you created?
By a baby. He came to our school and he spoke some words. And
A baby came to your school.
I started to exist as a spiritual. Yes, God used His gift. His gift. He got a gift.
He was created by
from
a
God.
baby, Adi. Let that sink in. He was created by a baby.
By a baby God.
Yeah, a baby God.
As my mother, but he was not my mother. He was a baby. What did the creating?
Do you?
Wait a minute.
Do you
Hang on.
Do you actually know what you?
Peter, you have heard this shit before. Most of us have not. Let me dive into this a little bit.
Go ahead.
All right. Okay, so you were created by a baby that came to your school and talked to you.
Yeah, in the hall. He talked to a lot of us in the hall.
Well, I know,
he was a baby. A baby with a gift.
I'm just trying to make sure that I'm hearing the story correctly. Yeah. This is some shit. Okay, so baby came to your school, talked to you, and then you became a mother. But that baby didn't.
No. I didn't become a mother. I also became a baby.
You also became a baby?
I was born at that moment as a baby God.
You were born at that moment as a baby. You were born
as a baby God.
At that moment because a baby spoke to you at your school.
A baby God spoke to me in the gift of God. At my school, and God created me. Gave birth to me as a baby God too, just smaller than that baby.
Okay.
He was a bit older baby.
Are methamphetamines a problem in your country?
Say again?
Are methamphetamines a problem in your country?
This is spiritual. Nobody can see it happening. It happens in the spirit.
No. Are methamphetamines? It's a drug. Is that a problematic condition in your country? Is it? Do you have
drugs? How did we get to drugs?
Or not
how did we get on drugs now?
Well, how did we get on drugs?
How does drugs figure now?
That we were on drugs.
Some of us are on better drugs than others.
Oh man.
Well, see.
It's just a question, because I mean you're saying some things that to me are far more familiar coming from someone who might dabble
on mind-altering substances.
Just something that makes you feel so important that the way you describe things is how they are useful to you. Just something on that level. Not nothing heavy, no heroin or anything, but just something that makes you think about how something is useful to you before you would think about how you would actually describe that thing.
I don't think he got a word of that.
I think he's frozen.
Are you still here, Johan?
Mommy? Mommy?
Don't do that.
It's
So-
creepy, the fuck, isn't it? It's really fucking creepy.
Yeah, I think we lost him. Yeah,
Come on, can't be over now. I just got here.
at least we learned one thing: gods do not how to operate technical equipment.
I have never been called a god before. Not even in bed.
I feel a new T-shirt coming. I'm God.
Oh.
Kneel for me.
I kneel, pray.
Yes.
I I apologize to those of you who are still with us for not having been here earlier. I kind of feel like that was probably a good thing because this thing would have derailed. I feel a long time ago, it was a lot of fun for me to get to listen to this in the car instead of listening to my dad mumble from the back seat. This was a lot of fun. I hope Johan mommy.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's a creepy guy, Peter.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe he will get back.
It was
I'll send him. I'll send him a message.
it was fun to hear him just openly admit that he had chosen his God by saying, "The God I've chosen," which I can't believe he didn't recognize that he was about to say again before you interrupted.
It is literally like talking to someone who doesn't hold the concept of language. It is.
Yeah, he may very well have a disability that fucks with his ability to deal with language effectively, because he does seem to. It's beyond sociopathic seemingly, although he might border on something a little more significant than just sociopathy with his dismissiveness. But he really did describe everything in terms of how he used it or it was useful to him, and that was, knowing what I already know about the guy, creepy.
Yeah, it's. So I really don't get it, and I don't get what he's getting out of this, except that he has now other people paying for his house, for his car, for his computer.
That's why I asked him the impressive question. It was fun to watch him weasel out of that.
Well, he. So one thing we didn't touch on, and that might be worthwhile mentioning to the people who are still watching all of this. He claims that he's not alive.
Oh well, I have my own doubts. It seems a little bit. Disney used to have a character that I think it was supposed to show up in a movie, or maybe it did, and the movie just tanked. But Disney had a character called Figment, and it was a reference to a figment of your imagination. And I kind of feel like he's living kind of the Figment lifestyle, that he's just outside of his own reality. He's operating as a character, and dude, he's just creepy as fuck. His ability to define things in terms of him was just astonishing. I do it. I get it. I got a little sociopath in me. I get it. I fucking do it too. That's why I was like, wow, you do it a lot.
Yeah, I see.
You know, because I talk about my dogs in the sense of what they do for me, rather than what I've ever done for either of you ungrateful pricks.
Yeah, so I don't think he's getting back. So we might as well wrap it up.
Well, thank you for your patience with me.
I always have patience with you. That's why we're friends.
Sound like my mommy.
Yeah, I'm your mommy.
That's
Oh
so
man. Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Let's never fucking say that shit ever again.
It's creeping me out on Twitter already.
He's 50. Is he? He's 58, 59?
59.
59. Talking to a 50-year-old and another year old.
Yeah, see it.
50-year-old.
I'm 57.
The same age.
I'm 57.
No, you're the same age he is. Don't
No,
lie.
No, I'm 2 years younger. I'm going to be 58 this year.
Look, if a 50-year-old can't fuck with you about your age, who the fuck can?
Yeah, I mean, well, at least we've established that Artie is a god. I'm still a baby, and I have no clue. I have no clue how to end this in any way, shape, or form. But
Kind of feel like we have.
we have to. The good thing is that I will try to have Johan back because we still have Lilith who wants a word, and we have Robert who wants a word,
I'd like to speak with them.
and Johan wants to talk to Robert because Robert won't mention his name anymore, and Johan thinks that Robert's afraid.
I'll bet Robert.
We all know Robert's not afraid.
I'll bet Robert won't call him mommy even as a joke.
No. So I want to thank everyone who dropped by, and because of the problems that I had getting all of this started, maybe I'm a god and I don't know how to work technology because
You're a fucking wizard, Peter.
I couldn't get the stream started.
I didn't say you were a good wizard.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back soon, I guess. I hope. Maybe. We'll see.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. I'm not a lord. Math pig. Stop that.
Thanks, Peter. And quit talking to me like that, math pig.
That was weird. Okay. Thanks all for watching, and catch you all later. Bye, everyone.